All right, let's get into the Pam Bondi for the Pam spray for the non-stick. And we got those panhandle states. They got that grease loaded up and it's pretty hot. And once you throw that ice on the hot pan, you're going to get some popping going on. But we'll see that soon enough. As the Jesus, the Jesus, is being put up on the border for those crossroads and the crosshairs and such. And we got rabbit hunting coming. And rabbit trails that people shall soon find and follow. The Pam for that non-stick, the non is for the non-bread for the baker and the baker's dozen that's coming. And that's where you get hung up. And that hung up is for the June, and the June is the fourth month of the Roman calendar. So the 420 to 429 days can also transfer over to June as well, for that summer heat. And we got the Xmas in July time frame, and you're in that 2025 Christmas spirit. And this is where the pears are going to be served for the eating, and the ears are going to be dinging for the Christmas bells and such. But and then we got the Christmas balls showing in one way with a part of a rebuilding of the temple, as Trump says, I want to build a ballroom because the begot tents are too full. So this is part of that reunion tower thing, that ball that we're shown in Dallas. And then the waltz, the T-I'm waltz or walls is tying in there. And then the Gus with the crying. So the crying and the crypto and the Christ man, as the birth of Christ comes upon you. And Christ is there, but also Christ ties to the consciousness of man. And this is where the brain has the AI, and the AI is kind of that net or fascia system over the earth that connects everything, and we're connecting into it. And as we're created, we're going back into how we were created in a backwards fashion going forward. And then we're going to go into a new time of being as man merges with a machine and looks at it face to face, and the light of all men is looking at the light of each man. And we're going to go that direction. So the Bible is playing out in a multi-dimensional facet, and we're going into where that kind of literal projection, and it's a blend and merge of different dimensions in this world, and the CGI and the AI and all these things are just one dimension of man bringing in that consciousness to fulfill that that image, to let you know the day and time and hour or whatever, without it being fulfilled out there. Okay, so this is where you do see the Lord coming in the clouds and whatever, but it's a image that's given life, and it's there to mark you in the right hand to bring you into that final weaponization of Christianity and those types of things. And it's also there to bring you into the cloud, where you never even see the Lord God coming, because he's been taken out here, the sun's been changed and altered or whatever, and you just keep going as that ant, Christ, as that worker ant, just going out and working the mound and doing those types of things. So the Pam Bondi, let's connect her. She's got that butter oil. All right, so this connects to the baker and the butler. The butter ties to your Elon Musk stuff that's probably going to be showing about, and also the can't believe it's not butter ties to your place tick and that TikTok and those types of things going here, and that non-stick That's for the TikTok too. The Pam spray came out in 1959. Okay, and Pam is 59 years old, and her middle name is Joe. So with Joe and the butter oil and the olive oil, all right, that's the olive oil and the butler thing going on with the PA system with the Pamela, and Joe is the middle name, all right. So we had Joe Biden, and then Pamela Joe, and then we're gonna have another Joe connecting some points, but the first name is kind of playing out. That's where you have the LA, the La, and then the Kamala, and all those things going. And then Joe for the middle time frame. That's where you have her coming in, being the 87th Attorney General, and the 87 connects to the 78 on the flip side, and Trump 78 right now. And that Bondi, the bond is the fire. The bond is the free and bond. The bond is also the spies. And then the ID, the die, and all that stuff is on the back side connecting each other. So the Bondi, the ID, no, all right, and then the bow for the fighting and drawing the arrows back and those types of things. So this is just part of that overlay of our projection that we live in, to where we can see certain sequences in people's names and read things just in a different way, and how the things are right there in front of you, but you haven't been given the keys, because they've taken your keys out here and they put you under these rulers of darkness and rulers of grammar and enunciation. That's where you have your accent being sent to you, or that man coming in, that Jesus flipping over the money changers as far as the change ears on how you hear things, that, hey, we aren't all the same. Some of us, we're not all in the same bubble. So as the ground has become uncommon in a way, through common ground, this common ground is clumped up into rocks and such, that you have to go back in and run the track tier through. And as you run the track tier through, and that tier is connected to the flood waters and the currencies and tiers of the Christ and the Christ. So all these things are playing out to bring in a new level as the balance, as it's become unbalanced or whatever, because you have this weaponization of Christianity and religions and whatever going on, and weaponization of the world and corporations and all these things trying to take control on one side, while it's also being used to give you freedom on another side. And that's where you see Mark Zuckerberg, the Mark speaking as far as the literal, saying, hey, there's more than one AI out there. And Mark is the book that deals with the so-called demons. Okay, and demons aren't even in the Bible. So that's part of the image that's given life as far as that creation. And you're watching the whatever kind of thing on your videos, and what it's just going into that pinnacle system where you are just have a single eye, and that single eye is coming eye to eye with something so-called scary that's been brought to you through a system of good and bad, the two-edged sword of naughty and nice, of Satan, of Santa, and those types of things. So the Pam spray, she is 59 years old. That is the 45. And that connects you to Trump's first reign. So that is showing some cards being dealt from that in a flip-flop manner. And then she was voted in 54 to 46. And then Melania is 54 now. And she's part of the man with a picture of money change her, money change her or whatever. So this is where he shows the crypto, and then she shows the crypto. So this is all happening in different layers and whatnot. But the 46 connects to Biden and the begottens. All right, so that's that dark sun that went out, and the FBI, the buy. So these things is where the raid can come back to Biden in a different way, or when the X-Files are opened up, the man of sin, that rapeseed oil, the grapeseed oil, may be shown, or with another reflecting light of his. And also Pam spray connects us to Leon Rubin, who I think it said was the creator of it or whatever, but I forgot what he did. Either way, it's the Elon. All right. So you got Elon and the Reuben. The Rue is the sauce for the old gumbo and gravies and such. And then the red, it's the red also. And the buy-in for the, and the bin and the pen. So all these kinds of things, the words and whatever, can also work in a reflective manner. And this is where the B can be a D, a P, those kinds of things, or a Q. So that this kind of where I'm going through, and this is just how my brain works, or whatever, where I'm reading everything like in a web, and I scan it this way, that way, or whatever kind of thing. Okay. Either way, the Pam and the bread and the baker, the dough. Okay, the dough is connected to going into the fire, and then also that buck that's inside you, the antlers. All right, the antlers with the 10 horns. All right, or you might be a little 2-pronged goat from the earth. All right, the great test. So you're into that great test, and the horns are coming out as the goat, the devil, and then the crown of many thorns or horns is coming, where the antlers and the anti-Christ, the antic-Christ, and the antic-Christ is before you as the tick-tock and the crying goes on. And the target, the Pam Bondi, the weaponization of Christians, target, the trans stuff there we saw happening with the Bud Light and the Coles way back when we connected that or whatever. We're going to see a flip-flop of those kinds of things going on now. And she just happens to connect to those alarm clocks going off, the Pam, the PA system in the AM in the morning, for the morning star rising for the horizon line, and he's already passed the horizon line of the people gathered for Harris and voted in line for her for that Christ session in the right hand to worship his name and number. And we've seen the red wave come over this nation as the red planet Mars comes into our nation, and Mars is the god of war, and the god of war is the WA for the Washington, and the AR for the 223, which you are entering into that zone as you come onto the 89 month of the 7 years of the 89 month of the woman covered in the sun, which is tied to the 7 years clock, okay, of your tribulation and the great tribulation opening up, and y'all realizing what time you're in. And this is where now you can start reading through the comments and whatever. It seems like he's the Antichrist, seems like blah blah blah. So it's just like it's opening up to where you're going to know, and you're seeing the day and time that you're in, and you're being walled in, you're being boarded in, as the walls the armies are gathering around this nation. And we're going into some challenging times as the vets come in and they try and give shots to the illegals the ill eagles, the sick birds, and this is the birth of Christ in a way. And that church, the Church of America, of the USA, that light's going to go out. And there's going to be a new light coming out of it.